and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I am super excited to get started with this channel. Basically what I want to do is kind of just share my tips and tricks, my mistakes, and any advice that I may have for people who are trying to apply to medical school or starting the medical school process. I'm currently in my second year at SGU, St. George's University in Grenada. And so being an international medical student, that has its own like negative connotations and things like that. So I am basically explaining what it's like to be an international medical student. And hopefully you guys can follow me on my journey so that we can overcome these stigmas. I know my story is not different from a lot of people's. Like a lot of the students I've met have similar stories to mine, where didn't get the best grades or whatever the case may be in their undergrad. So for me personally, I went to UAlbany at first. I started off there for my freshman and sophomore year. Unfortunately, things got a little crazy. No, not crazy per se, but me coming from a place where I was like really like overprotected as a child, like being on my own and stuff like that, it definitely... So basically my dad was just like, bring your ass home. It's time to come home. You're gonna go to my alma mater and you're gonna get your grades up. And if things go well, then you can go back to Albany. And he was lying. He was trying to set me up from the beginning. I dead came home and I was doing better. Like I raised my GPA from like around a 2.9 to a 3.4. I finished out my last 2 years at Brooklyn College, and about in May of 2017. So after that, I applied to a shit ton of schools, like not even kidding, probably like 12 to 15 schools. So I applied to MD, DO schools, and I wasn't really hearing back from anybody until halfway through my gap year. My dad told me to just apply to SGU. I didn't really know what SGU was. I didn't really hear of that many schools in the Caribbean. I did hear from like one, but they seemed so like thirsty to have me go there. It felt weird, and like it was just weird vibes. So then I applied to SGU, and everything seemed more like normal, you know what I'm saying? As far as like there was an interview process you had to go through. It took a couple of days to hear back, maybe a couple of weeks. I can't remember exactly. But like, you know, a couple of weeks, couple of days to get here back. So I heard back, I got in, but I had to do this like MSAT program, which is basically a summer-long intensive program where you're like learning pre-med courses and things like that. And I think it's about 6 to 8 weeks. And if you pass, you go into term one. If you don't, you do CFP. I was working full time when I was in MSAP. And so I would come home from work at like 7, 8 p.m. and I'd be so tired that like, I would just like kind of skim the work and be like, oh, I'll figure it out. Like, cause it's like, it's also some things that you're familiar with as far as like biochemistry, things like that. So I was like, cool, I got this. Like, I'll figure it out. No, did not figure it out. Failed. And I had to go to CFP. So now CFP is a little bit different because you're on the island. So I got to like pack up all my stuff and go out to the island and kind of like get settled there for a semester. And I think honestly, that was a blessing in disguise for me because I got to like make friends with people who were in CFP who ended up matriculating with me into the School of Medicine. And I also got to like learn the island a little bit. Like there's a currency difference. So 2.7 EC is roughly $1 American. So it's like you have to learn the conversion rate so you're not gypped off when you go out to places, and like learning how to maneuver like the buses and taxis and good places to eat besides on campus. So it was nice for me, honestly, because I got to learn the island a little bit more before I started like actual my first semester. Also get like some of the information that you're gonna already learn in term one. So a lot of the stuff that I learned in CFP, I didn't have to really study as intensely in term one because I had just learned it, you know? So it was a couple of weeks ago. So anyway, back to CFP. CFP is a semester-long course of pre-med courses. So like anatomy, physio, biochem, psychology, and like one of those like learning, like foundations to learning classes, like super easy, half the semester kind of thing. CFP went great. Like, I think just being isolated on the island makes you focus so much more because it's like you literally have nothing else to do here but study, you know? So it's like, number one, you're always like away from your family and stuff like that. You have to make new friends out here. And so I think one thing that always drove me, you can CR and like spend another semester there, but it's like, do you really want to spend another semester away from your family? So for me, like that's something that always kept me driven, where I'm like, I might be feeling lazy today and I might not want to study today, but it's like, if I study today, then I'll probably get a better grade. And if I get a better grade, I can make sure that the time that I'm here is the time that I set aside to be here. I'm supposed to be leaving here in December 2020, and I'm leaving here in December 2020. I mean, not now that COVID happened. I came home around March of 2020, but still, the deadline was supposed to be December 2020. And thankfully, right now, I am in my 5th term. And if all goes well in the next 6 weeks, I will be done with my term 5 right on time. I'm going off on so many tangents. I'm so sorry, but I'm just trying to like piece everything together. So I told you guys about CFP, and once you finish that, you matriculate into the School of Medicine, barring that you have a 3.5 GPA. For the most part, it's doable to get the 3.5 because I know like a handful of students that I know personally went through the program with me, got to 3.5, and matriculated with me. So some of those people are like literally my best friends now. Like we keep in contact all the time. That is my study group, my friend group. Like they hold it down. That happened. We had our white coat ceremony, and it was so great. It was honestly so beautiful. My parents weren't able to come, but you know, tickets out there are very expensive, so that was completely understandable. I finished all of that, and I am currently finishing up my 2nd year. Literally, time flies so fast. Like you're sitting in term 1 watching the term 5s, like one day I'll be a term 5 and I'll know everything that I'm talking about and all of that. And then you get to term 5 and you're like, wow, I don't know nothing. No, I'm kidding. Funny. Nah, but you'll get to term 5 and it'll feel like time has really flown by. Like to me, it felt like just the other day I was at my white coat ceremony. Just the other day I was in CFP, and like I'm finishing up my 2nd year now. Let's go take my step and start my clinical rotations. So I am like legit beyond hype. Like I'm the kind of weirdo person that loves stress a little bit. Like I love pressure. And so like knowing that I'm going into the hospital and like things are going to be a little more stressful as far as like waking up earlier, from having the pressure of like knowing like things on the top of your head, like when the doctors quiz you and stuff like that. I am like so excited for that. It's crazy. Like I feel like this is how I know that I love what I do and what I'm going to do, because just the idea of like actually getting out there and seeing patients and like really getting to know people and practicing all of the studying that I've been doing, that gets me so hyped, bro. Like I'm so excited. Like it's about to be worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's dead about to be worth it. It's like all those times you sat in that study hall freezing your behind off, you know, from like 10 a.m. to 2 a.m., all those all-nighters you pulled, all those like everything, you know what I'm saying? Everything is starting to become worth it. And I feel like that's why I'm so excited for this. And one thing that I will leave you guys with, because I know I have chatted your ear off at this point, but one thing I will leave you with is, and I apologize if you guys are not religious or if you don't believe in God or whatever the case may be, I respect everything. But I personally believe in God, and I feel like God truly flourishes the plans that he has for you. And that is something that I have to take with me throughout my journey, because I used to feel like a failure a little bit for not being able to go to an American school. And I was at first a little embarrassed because I felt like I wasn't good enough to get into an American school. And seeing how successful I've been at SGU, seeing how well I've been doing as far as my grades, as far as my involvement in extracurricular activities, like I'm in the Honor Society, I'm in IEA, which is like a medical honors fraternity, I'm in SNMA, which is a group that promotes the diversity of medicine. So I feel like everything that has tried to deter me from this path was not able to. And that's on period, because God is here to flourish his plan. It's in his plan for me to become a doctor, and that's what we're about to do. So I hope you guys follow me on this journey, because we're getting this MD. Maybe we can get it together if you guys are in MS2 as well. If not, good luck on the application process. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. If you have any questions about being an international medical student, please let me know. I'm here to help, and I'm here to give advice and tips and whatever I can. So I hope you guys enjoyed this channel. I will be talking about a little bit of everything from medicine to travel to whatever I can possibly give advice, tips, and tricks on. So I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video, and I hope you enjoyed this one.